We grow up playing DOS games, so it was very hard to decide which one is the best one, but we managed to put a list, so here's our top 10 DOS games. Lemmings is a puzzle platformer video game originally developed by DMA Design and first published by Psygnosis for the Amiga, Atari ST and PC in 1991. The game was programmed by Mike Daly and David Jones, and was inspired by a simple animation that Daly created while experimenting with Deluxe Paint. The objective of the game is to guide a group of anthropomorphized lemmings through a number of obstacles to a designated exit. To save the required number of lemmings to win, one must determine how to assign a limited number of 8 different skills to specific lemmings that allow the selected lemming to alter the landscape, to affect the behavior of other lemmings, or to clear obstacles to create a safe passage for the rest of the lemmings. Lemmings was one of the best received video games of the early 1990s. It was the second highest rated game in the history of Amstrad Action, and was considered the 8th greatest game of all time by Next Generation in 1996. Lemmings is also one of the most widely ported video games, and is estimated to have sold over 15 million copies between its various ports. The popularity of the game also led to the creation of several sequels, remakes and spin-offs, and has also inspired similar games. The Settlers 2, Vini, Vidi, VC, German, Die Siedler 2, Vini, Vidi, VC, is a 1996 real-time strategy video game developed and published by Blue Byte Software for MS-DOS. It is the second game in the Settlers series, and a sequel to The Settlers. Shortly after its release, Blue Byte released an expansion pack, The Settlers 2 Mission CD, containing additional maps, a new single-player campaign and a level editor. In 1997, they released The Settlers 2, Gold Edition, containing the original game, plus the Mission CD expansion. In 2006, a remake, The Settlers 2 10th Anniversary, was released for Windows and Nintendo DS. In 2009, the Gold Edition was released on GOG.com. The game can be played in either single-player campaign mode or in free game mode, individual scenarios with predetermined rules set by the player, which can be played with either another player, with the computer, or with both another player and the computer. In the single-player campaign, the player controls a group of Romans who are shipwrecked. Led by their captain, Octavius, they must use a series of magical portals to try to find their way back to the Empire. During their travels, they come into conflict with Nubians, Vikings and Japanese. In the single-player campaign included with the Mission CD, the player controls Octavius' great-grandson as he attempts to conquer the entire world. Sam & Max Hit the Road is a graphic adventure video game released by LucasArts during the company's adventure games era. The game was originally released for MS-DOS in 1993 and for Mac OS in 1995. A 2002 re-release included compatibility with Windows. The game is based on the comic characters of Sam and Max, the freelance police, an anthropomorphic dog and hyperkinetic gravity thing. The characters, created by Steve Purcell, originally debuted in a 1987 comic book series. Based on the 1989 Sam and Max comic On the Road, the duo take the case of a missing Bigfoot from a nearby carnival, traveling to many Americana tourist sites to solve the mystery. LucasArts began development of the game in 1992 with the intention to use new settings and characters after the success of the past Maniac Mansion and Monkey Island adventure titles. Series creator Steve Purcell, then a LucasArts employee, was one of the lead designers on the project. Sam & Max Hit the Road is the 9th game to use the SCUM adventure game engine, and also integrated the Amuse audio system developed by Michael Land and Peter McConnell. The game was one of the first to incorporate full voice talent for its characters. The 2 title characters were voiced by professional voice actors Bill Farmer and Nick Jameson. Prince of Persia is a 1989 fantasy cinematic platformer originally developed and published by Broderbund and designed by Jordan Mechner for the Apple II. In the game, players control an unnamed protagonist who must venture through a series of dungeons to defeat the Grand Vizier Jafar and save an imprisoned princess. Much like Karaka, Mechner's first game, Prince of Persia used rotoscoping for its fluid and realistic animation. For this process, Mechner used as reference for the character's movements videos of his brother doing acrobatic stunts in white clothes in swashbuckler films such as The Adventures of Robin Hood. The game was critically acclaimed and, while not an immediate commercial success, sold many copies as it was ported to a wide range of platforms after the original Apple II release. It is believed to have been the first cinematic platformer and inspired many following games in this subgenre, such as Another World. SimCity 2000, SC2K, is a city-building simulation video game and the second installment in the SimCity series. SimCity 2000 was first released by Maxis in 1994 for computers running Apple Macintosh operating system. It was later released on the Amiga, DOS and Microsoft Windows, followed by a release for OS/2. In 1995, SimCity 2000 won Best Military or Strategy Computer Game Origins Award. Unexpected and enduring success of the original SimCity, combined with the relative lack of success with other Sim titles, finally motivated the development of a sequel. The Secret of Monkey Island is a 1990 point-and-click graphic adventure game developed and published by Lucasfilm Games. It takes place in a fantastic version of the Caribbean during the age of piracy. The player assumes the role of Guybrush Threepwood, a young man who dreams of becoming a pirate and explores fictional islands while solving puzzles. The game was conceived in 1988 by Lucasfilm employee Ron Gilbert, who designed it with Tim Schafer and Dave Grossman. Gilbert's frustrations with contemporary adventure titles led him to make the player character's death almost impossible, which meant that gameplay focused the game on exploration. The atmosphere was based on that of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme park ride. The Secret of Monkey Island was the fifth game built with a SCUM engine, which was heavily modified to include a more user-friendly interface. Alone in the Dark is a survival horror video game series, originally developed by Infogrames. In most of the games, the player controls private investigator Edward Carnby, who goes to investigate a haunted mansion or town that is full of undead creatures. The original story is based on the writings of H.P. Lovecraft, although later games in the series drew inspiration from other sources including Voodoo, The Wild West, and the works of H.R. Geiger. 6 installments of this series have been created, with various themes and locations. 2 comic books and 2 films were created based upon the games. Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness is a fantasy-themed real-time strategy game published by Blizzard Entertainment and first released for DOS in 1995 and for Mac OS in 1996. The main game, Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness, earned enthusiastic reviews, won most of the major PC gaming awards in 1996, and sold over 2 million copies. Later in 1996 Blizzard released an expansion pack Warcraft 2, Beyond the Dark Portal for DOS and Mac OS, and a compilation Warcraft 2, The Dark Saga for the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn. The Battle.net edition, released in 1999, provided Blizzard's online gaming service, Battle.net, and replaced the MS-DOS version with a Windows 1. Wolfenstein 3D is a first-person shooter video game developed by id Software and published by Apogee Software and FormGen. Originally released on May 5, 1992, for MS-DOS, it was inspired by the 1981 Muse Software video game Castle Wolfenstein. In Wolfenstein 3D, the player assumes the role of Allied spy William B.J. Blazkowicz during World War II as he escapes from the Nazi German prison castle Wolfenstein and carries out a series of crucial missions against the Nazis. The player traverses through each of the game's levels to find an elevator to the next level or kill a final boss, fighting Nazi soldiers, dogs, and other enemies with knives, pistols, and other guns. Doom, typeset as Doom in official documents, is a 1993 science fiction horror-themed first-person shooter, FPS, video game by id Software. It is considered one of the most significant and influential titles in video game history, for having helped to pioneer the now ubiquitous first-person shooter. The original game was divided into 3 9-level episodes and was distributed via shareware and mail order. The Ultimate Doom, an updated release of the original game featuring a 4th episode, was released in 1995 and sold at retail. If you like our pick for top 10 DOS games PLS, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you don't PLS, tell us in the comments below what games do you think we missed. And see you in the next video.